Roger, 0G, and I feel fine.
Nice to be in orbit.
We have followed in their footsteps to get us where we are today.
Good morning and welcome to NASA's Kennedy Space Center. I'm Shaniqua Vereen, joining you from Florida as we prepare for the upcoming launch of NASA's SpaceX Crew-12 mission. Launch is slated for no earlier than Wednesday, February 11th. Today is the crew's final media availability before launch. Our Crew-12 astronauts are joining us virtually from quarantine ahead of their mission to the International Space Station. We have about 30 minutes together this morning, and we'll try to answer as many of your questions as possible. With that, let's head over to crew quarters to hear a few words from the Dragon Commander, Jessica Meir.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much, Shaniqua. It's wonderful to be here with you today. As Shaniqua just mentioned, we're here in the crew quarters facility in Florida. We arrived a couple of days ago, and this is really starting to feel like we're about to launch. You know, we've seen the rocket. We've been spending time out on the beach with our families. We've been, thinking about all the things, last-minute things that we need to take care of. So it's getting very, very real. We want to say a big thanks to all the teams that got us here, NASA, ESA, Roscosmos, all of our international partners, SpaceX, of course, for all the incredible preparation that we've received. We are really feeling ready, and hopefully we will be able to launch on Wednesday as planned.
Also today I cooked traditional Russian food. This is a borscht, and I hope I cooked it for my crew, for teams who support us. Yes, thank you. And
very delicious.
I
very
hope.
delicious.
Very delicious.
Thanks, Andrey. It's been great here in crew quarters. It's just a historic part of NASA's program. From the beginning of the space program, astronauts have been staying here in quarantine before they go, doing our last little bit of training, some quality time with our families. It's really a special place to be. We're happy to be here at Kennedy Space Center, and we're really, really excited to launch in 3 days.
Thanks, Jack. Yeah, and not only very serious training happens also, but daily anecdotes. And we wanted to share the one fun anecdote that we started sleep shift in order to be ready for launch at 6 a.m. Florida time. And so, for example, today we're going to go to bed at 2 p.m. and going to wake up at 9:45 p.m. And in order to help us, we wear these wonderful glasses that block blue light. And we really like it.
All right, Shaniqua, back to you, and we're ready to take any questions.
Thanks, Jessica. We will now begin taking questions from our phone bridge and online using the hashtag AskNASA. To join the queue for the phone bridge, press *1. If your question is asked and answered and you would like to remove yourself from the crew, please press *2. All right, operator, we'll take our first question.
Thank you. Will Robinson-Smith of Space Flight Now, your line is open.
Hi, everyone. Good morning, and thanks for taking the time to talk with us today. Best of luck with the mission. Question for the full crew, but sort of broken up slightly differently. Jessica, if you could talk a little bit about your marine biology experience, and especially your work in the Arctic, and how that helped inform your time as an astronaut. And then to the rest of the crew, you all have armed services backgrounds. If you could speak to how your military service helps you in your daily or your mindset as astronauts and cosmonauts, that'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. As you mentioned, I did work as a scientist in my previous career, and I was studying the physiology of animals in extreme environments. So that research brought me to places like the Antarctic, and I was fortunate enough to go down there 5 times for research expeditions and later for a diving expedition as well. And I think it does actually play in really nicely with our current job, with some of the similarities that these guys have from their military deployments and that kind of thing. And I think that came through, in my astronaut interview as well. The things that I would point out are working working in an isolated, harsh environment. So I was working in a remote field camp in the Antarctic with a very small team of people living in a confined situation with in a harsh climate. So those kinds of experiences really help prepare us for the confined locations like the International Space Station and help teach us really valuable lessons about teamwork and cooperation and what it's like to really spend that much time together with a small group of people. I think there are a lot of other parallels as well. When we're down in the Antarctic, we don't bring a ton of other specialists. We just had our small core team that was doing science. For my research, we were studying the diving physiology of emperor penguins. So in addition to doing the science, we also had to spend some days just shoveling snow or fixing a broken down snowmobile and that kind of thing. And that brings out these sort of operational fix-it type skills that are also really important to our daily routine on the space station, since of course we can't call an electrician or a plumber to fix the toilet or change a light bulb.
Thanks, Jessica. I think the question hits it on the head in the sense that we have all different backgrounds, and that's what makes the crew a success. Throughout the 25 years we'd have humans in orbit on the International Space Station and throughout of our respective space agencies, we all have a different background, and we bring something different to the adventure and to the mission, and that helps us succeed as a crew. For me, as an aviator, it helped me grow my mustache right now. It's a really key part of my background.
Pretty impressive, right?
But also, when I grew up as a naval aviator, everyone around me challenged me to be the best version of myself and be as capable and work as hard as I possibly could to meet the high standard that is present in that community. And I try to bring that here to my experience at NASA. And I'll kick it over to Soph.
Yeah, thank you, Jack. And Jessica, yeah, I could only agree with what you said. I would add as well that the background that Jack and I and Andrey had in the military taught us how to deal with complex operation in the face of uncertainty. So it's not only dealing with like inside your cockpit with whatever elements happen in sometimes hostile environments, but also an ever-changing environment. And I think Crew-12, we had a lot of a changing environment in our training. So this is clearly something we experienced in our previous lives, and it was really like very relevant for our training.
I agree with these guys. And also I think that it doesn't matter what experience you have. Anything what you can do, it will be helpful for you. Yeah. Thanks.
All right, operator, we are ready for our next question.
Manuel Mezanti of Expresión Especial, your line is open.
Thank you so much. Manuel Masanti with Exploración Espacial. Great to see you, the four of you, ready for lunch. I have a question for Sophie. Sophie, I know that you're bringing with you a new exercising machine to the space station, E4D, and I saw some photos of you practicing with it, getting used to it. I wonder if you're going to ask different crewmates to test the machine in orbit. And what is it that you're expecting out of this machine? Do you think it's going to improve the current exercising machine on the space station? And what are you and ESA expecting out of this machine in the near future? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for this question. Actually, all of us will be training on this machine, and we're all very excited. It's a partnership between ESA, the European Space Agency, and NASA. It's a great opportunity for everyone and all of the teams to test the concept of a machine that is thought to be later installed on board the Gateway, the station around the moon. And we have many hopes that this machine we tested it on the ground. It's incredible. It brings a lot more exercise variety than the current exercise machine has. And so we are very happy to test this all. It's going to be interesting to see also because although we're very confident with the ground testing, now testing this in microgravity might bring us different analysis, and maybe we'll have to tweak some of the exercises. Just to give you some examples of new exercises that were not possible before with the current ARED machine, this machine will give us the opportunity to do all of the pulling movements. With the previous one, it was mainly about pushing, so pushing away from your body. This one has a rope built in, and so we can pull towards our body. So it's really more, you know, a big picture will hit all of the muscle groups, and so it will help for better health and we hope better, sustainable muscle when we come back to Earth.
All right, operator, next question, please.
Bill Harwood of CBS News, your line is open.
Thank you. I guess this is for Jessica. I mean, you guys obviously didn't get a direct handover with Crew 11 aboard the station, but I assume you've talked to them on the ground, wondering if they gave you any hints, any advice. And a related question, is a handover even needed, given Chris has been there since November and you and Andrey are veterans?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good point. Actually, in the time of my last flight, around 6-7 years ago, we did these indirect handovers, what we call them. We did those actually regularly. It was more rare to have that direct handover where the other crew stayed on board before you arrived. So now, since we've had commercial crew, we have been doing these direct handovers more, and it does help in order to transfer over any last-minute operations to help people get the lay of the land. But there is nothing magic in it. It also, during that direct handover, it actually is quite crowded on the space station as well. So sometimes it's hard to, it can make life a little bit more difficult. So we don't anticipate any problems. Like you mentioned, Chris has been up there since around the time of Thanksgiving, so he is very well settled in. We have talked to him as a crew. We've talked to him individually several times, so we've traded different pieces of information. He's doing really well and has that place running. It's going to be in perfect shape when we get up there, I'm sure, because he's so competent and settled in. And we did have a chance to talk to the Crew 11 astronauts as well. We ran into them several times and had a little bit of a debrief so they could pass along some pertinent things. There are some differences on the space station from the time that Andrey and I flew before, but overall, as a whole, it hasn't changed that much. So you're right, our experience will also help, and Jack and Sophie will be up to speed in no time, I'm sure.
Thanks, Bill. Operator, next question for us, please.
Thank you. David Denault of About Space Today News, your line is open.
Good morning, and thank you for taking our questions today. Mine is a little bit more serious, perhaps, than some. You had two people doing numerous interviews on networks and local television stations. One is a retired senior engineer from NASA, and the other is a former shuttle pilot. And they've been going around saying that the heat shield is old technology. They rated it as an F. How does that make you feel? And I want to direct that to Jessica. Go ahead.
Well, that is specific to the Artemis mission. We are flying on a SpaceX Dragon capsule, so totally different heat shield than the one that you were talking about. But in regard to the Artemis mission, we have thousands of engineers here that have reviewed all of those data and that are trying to make sure that we are in a good posture. So we have reviewed those data. We do believe that the profile that the Artemis astronauts will be flying is a safe one, and we will leave it to that team to sort out.
Thanks, Jessica. Operator, next question.
Jonathan Sear of Fox News.
Morning. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. I'm wondering if each of you could describe a personal item that you're bringing along with you to space.
Sure. We all get to bring different personal items with us to space to share with all our friends and families. And that's pretty meaningful to a lot of us, right? We have a lot of people in our lives that have helped us along the way. And it's hard to really express how thankful we are to everyone that has helped us get to where we are in life. And one of the ways we can do that maybe is sharing something that we've flown as a personal gift afterwards. And that feels pretty powerful. And I know I'm pretty excited to do that when I get back. Andrey?
Yeah, I think it's the same like you. It's different photos, different small things, and for give for my friends. Yeah, same.
Yeah, I have some mementos from different institutions, organizations, universities that I've attended before. We won't give any spoiler alerts. We'll save some of that. But one thing I will tell you, I do have a small stuffed rabbit that belongs to my 3-year-old daughter, and she actually has 2 of these because one was given as a gift. So one will stay down here with her, and one will be there with us having adventures all the time. So that we'll keep sending those photos back and forth to my family.
Thanks, yeah, and yeah, for me, some personal items too. I can mention one that has had a lot of meaning for me. So I'm flying the mission patch of Claudie Adenot. She was the first French woman astronaut, and she inspired me so much. So I wanted to honor her path and how she inspired so many women in France, and so many also not only women, but people wanted to go into sciences and adventure and exploration jobs. So yeah, that's something I'm gonna fly.
Next question, please.
Dennis Kish of TASS, your line is open.
Thank you for the briefing. My question is to Andrey Fedyaev. What are your expectations from the mission, and has Oleg Platonov given you any advice after his flight with Crew-11? Thank you.
Yes, of course, we had a chance to speak each other. He told me different things that will help me in my first time in the flight, but also in US segment we have there are Sergei Kuchershkov, Sergei Mikhaev, and Chris on US segment. I think how to say передача смены, handover. I think in the handover should be good.
All right, next question on the line.
TJ Muscaro of the Epoch Times, your line is open.
Hello, thank you so much for taking the time, and Godspeed. Question for Jessica. How does it feel now going into space as a mother? And for Sophie, the ESA has continued to decline to build its own crew spacecraft, and I was wondering if you and your fellow ESA astronaut colleagues would one day like to see that come to pass.
Well, to start out, a lot of astronauts and cosmonauts around the world are parents, so it's certainly nothing new. But it is personally different for me than my first flight, since, of course, my daughter was born only in between these 2 flights. So it does feel very different, and it does make it a lot difficult in preparing to leave and thinking about being away from her for that long, especially when she's so young. It's really a large chunk of her life. But I hope that, one day she will really realize that this absence was a meaningful one because it was an adventure that she got to share into and that she'll have memories about. And hopefully it will inspire her and other people around the world.
Yeah, thank you for your question. So actually, I think we're living at an era of spaceflight, which is very interesting and kind of hard to predict. Of course, for now, we don't have a crewed capsule. Maybe one day we'll have. I don't know. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball to predict anything, but what I can say is things are changing very fast in the space environment, and it's true for all over the continents because many nations are working to develop their space program. And I think in the future, in 10 years from now, no one can predict what will happen, but what we can all say is that it's evolving very fast and leaning towards more space programs over the world.
Thank you. Just a reminder for those on the phone bridge, if you have a question and would like to join the queue, please press *1. If your question has been asked and answered and you'd like to remove yourself from the queue, please press *2. All right, operator, we'll go to our next question.
Will Robinson Smith of Spaceflight Now, your line is open.
Hi, thanks for allowing another go around with questions. Question for the full crew again, but split up into two parts. For the veterans, Jessica and Andrey, given that station only has about a half a decade left, this may be the final time that you get to visit. So are there things that you weren't able to do during your first flight that you're hoping to do this go around, or something that you never got a chance to do? And then to Jack and Sophie, since you're able to visit station for the first time now, has there been anything that your colleagues in NASA and ESA respectively have told you that you really should make a point to do while you have this time on station? Thank you.
Well, I was extremely fortunate on my first flight, and I got to do pretty much everything: spacewalks, robotic arm captures, so many different types of scientific experiments. So there aren't very many things I didn't do, but the one thing, I think, because we were so busy, there was a goal that I had of spending an entire orbit, so a whole 90 minutes in the cupola, and being around in that one spot looking down all the way around the Earth. I actually never had time. I had this agenda. I really wanted to do it, and I never found a chance to do it. So that's definitely high up on my list.
As you know, the ISS was planned to use, I think, 2024. Yeah, but but now we have 2026. Yeah, who knows? Maybe we will fly on station a little bit more than 5 years. But of course, last flight I didn't have a chance to make EVA. But in this flight too, in this case, I hope what I said. Thank you.
I think the best piece of advice I've gotten about stuff to do up on station is just to slow down and smile and enjoy it. And we can get really caught up in all the important science and all the important technical work that we're doing up there. But it's a great privilege that we get to experience weightlessness and the beauty of the Earth from an orbit. And it's all based on the thousands and tens of thousands of people around the world through all our international partnerships and all the work that we've kept humans in orbit for 25 years. And just slow down, smile, and enjoy being a part of that history. So I'm looking forward to that. And I know something Jessica didn't get to do on her last mission that she's going to enjoy this time is hang out with the four of us and have a great time together.
Very true, very true.
Yeah, I can only concur with what was said before, and it's very interesting. I received this morning an email from a European astronaut who flew in the early 2020s, and he said, Sophie, your schedule will be especially busy for your increment, but don't forget one thing: you have to go put your eyes in the cupola to see the Earth at least once a day. Because it's very easy. The schedule is sometimes crazy. It's timed every 5 minutes. We have it's very detailed and it's a lot. And so he said force yourself to go see from the cupola once a day.
Thank you, operator. We'll go to the next question, please.
Richard Trevue of the Orlando Sentinel, your line is open.
Great, thanks. Thanks for taking time to take questions today. My one question I have for Jack, and I'm glad you brought it up. It's been a minute since a mustache has traveled to space, so I'm wondering if you talked to any other astronauts who had brought similar facial hair up in the past, and if they gave you any tips. And that might be a little lighthearted, but for the rest of the crew, a little bit deeper, this might be the last opportunity you get to actually be on the International Space Station. And that weigh on you at all? Is the things that you want to accomplish or things that you want to make sure that you take care of on this potentially last half decade of this spacecraft? Thank you.
The mustache is a lot of fun. The crew has enjoyed it. We've had a bunch of laughs about it. we've had some support. Some of our support staff, particularly our flight surgeons, have grown mustaches as well, in support and solidarity of my mustache, and I appreciate it. And I have mine in solidarity of all the naval officers and men and women throughout history that have worn mustaches to sea, and I get to wear one to space. I'm trying to get it as long as possible, see if I can get it to be more crazy than the hair of our fine female astronauts. But I don't think I will. They have more style than I do. So I'm looking forward to seeing what it does up there, how crazy it gets. As for our this may be my last opportunity to go to the space station. I'm more excited about being part of the group of part of a group of people that passes it on from group to group to group. Maybe I'll get to go again, maybe not. Maybe I'll do something else or not. I don't know the future, like Sophie said earlier. But we know right now we're part of something special, and that's part of NASA and part of ESA and part of Roscosmos and part of humanity. And it's really powerful to be part of something like that. So whether I get to go again or not, I got to be a part of this for this moment. With me and my family and our families, and we feel really blessed and honored to have that opportunity.
Yeah, I think for me, for the focus on what could be my final mission on the space station is really the mentoring aspect. This is the first time that I've been a commander of a crew, and that to me has been the most rewarding part is being here. It's nice with Andrey and I both having experience and then having two rookies. That part has been so fulfilling for me, and I hope that with this mission, I will be able to have a very positive impact on them, on their experience on the space station, and on all of their careers.
Yeah, and I think one thing that we can say for sure in our crew is come what may. I mean, we've been trained for whatever happens, and yeah, we're all very happy to go to the International Space Station as a very good symbol of what humanity can achieve when nations work together. It's been 25 years of continuous presence. So we received the legacy from people who built this, flown this, and operated this, and we just want to be, one passing relay to the future generations, whatever happens in the future. So come what may.
All right, it looks like we have 3 more questions on the line, and we have time just before our time ends with the crew today. Operator, will you go to our next question?
Jonathan Gier of Fox News, your line is open.
Thanks so much for the second question. I know this is for whoever would like to take it. I know you're launching a bit earlier than originally planned before Crew 11's early departure. You've already mentioned that the handover took place on the ground instead of in space, but I wonder if there are other ways that your preparations or training were affected, if you could describe that.
Yeah, our schedule changed actually several times throughout our mission. We have had a very dynamic flight schedule in recent years. So we actually moved forward by 5 weeks. Previously, our flight was supposed to not launch until the end of March, so we already had that acceleration. So another 4 days wasn't that big of a deal. We had already adjusted our training templates to account for that, and all of the teams on the ground had to do a lot of work to figure out what was essential, what could be cut, and that kind of thing. It was a little bit more hectic for us than it normally would have been, but we fit everything in that we needed to. And then we also have a lot of other things in place to prepare for situations like this. Some of the previous crews that have had extra time on orbit, for example, they recorded different videos of how to do different things, of where things are located, so that you can, if you have a situation like this where you don't have a handover, we have the material we need from a crew actually in space doing it. So we have a lot of materials like that, and of course the incredible ground support that we have in the Mission Control Center. They are there all the time whenever we're working, so it's not as if we have to operate completely autonomously or anything on the space station. They're always there to help us out through any activity.
Next question, please.
Anna Kramer of Space Up Close, your line is open.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for doing this, and good luck in your launch. We look forward to seeing you guys. My question is for Sophie, please. You mentioned, and I've read, that you were inspired by the first female French astronaut. I wonder if you could tell us a little background about how that came to be, and what did you do then to become an astronaut, and what are you planning, if anything, on the station during your time there, outreach sessions to inspire future women? And maybe, Jessica, you could talk about any future spacewalks that your crew will be doing. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for this question. So, yeah, I had this little girl's dream of becoming an astronaut, but I was like very young, and it was like a faraway dream, kind of unachievable, like a dream, basically. And I saw the other French astronauts launch, and yeah, fine, I read their biographies, but I actually, the launch of Claudie, the first French woman to launch to space, had a really big impact on me, and as if I allowed myself to say, okay, well, she made it happen for herself. Now I can allow myself to think that this can become possible. So I hope that I will, pass this message also to people, not only women but men also, who have maybe doubts on their journey to their dreams or their objectives or wherever they want to go. Sometimes you need to find some inspiration, when especially, for example, students are working on math equation and it's very boring and you don't see the end of this. But everything has a purpose, and when you have a little inspiration, it helps. She helped me a lot, so I hope I will be able to help a lot of the young people in France.
As far as EVAs or spacewalks, we do have some EVAs that are planned in the upcoming months. Of course, you never know what is going to happen. It's always a dynamic schedule, and some of the spacewalks that are planned for a few months from now depend on pieces of hardware arriving on cargo vehicles. So it's always dynamic and ever-changing. But we do have some slated as early as March, and those spacewalks will be to finish with these upgrades. We've been doing them for years now, upgrading some new solar arrays that will help augment the power system on the International Space Station. So a couple of those, some other small repairs and upgrades, and then we'll see what comes after that. And I don't know if, Andrey, do you know any of the planned Russian spacewalks during our mission?
Yeah, we have, but Russian EVAs, but without my participation. Yeah, but I think we will have during our EVA. I will operate ERA, European Robotic Arm. Yeah.
Yeah, so what Andrey is referring to, normally the cosmonaut that flies on the U.S. commercial vehicles doesn't receive all of the training, doesn't actually participate in the spacewalks. The two cosmonauts that are on the Soyuz will be performing those. But sounds like he'll be helping out with the robotic arm.
All right, and we're to our final question for today.
Thank you. Manuel Mazzanti of Exploración Espacial, your line is open.
Thank you so much, Manuel Mazzanti, Exploración Espacial. Thank you for giving me the chance for a second question. This one is for Jessica. I know that you're going to be performing or doing this very interesting activity, which is manual piloting, these landing simulations before, during, and after missions. And I understand that astronauts in a long duration and short duration missions are going to be involved in the future. Is this a NASA astronauts activity only, or is the agency open to other agencies doing this exercise like ESA and ESA and JAXA? Thank you.
It is open to all of the what we call the USOS, the U.S. operating segment. So to ESA, JAXA, and the CSA, all astronauts that are flying during those expeditions. I don't think we have any partnership for that one with Roscosmos. But Sophie and I will both be doing that experiment, the manual piloting. And we have already both done a lot of sessions on the ground where we are in a special simulator that was built just for the experiment at the NASA Johnson Space Center. And it's not actually based on the design of one of the landers that is being built right now by SpaceX or Blue Origin. It's a different kind of design, like a reference design, but it has controllers that you're flying. You're monitoring a display. You're looking at your fuel. You're steering over to your landing site. And the goal of that experiment is to understand what these gravitational transitions will do to a human's ability to perform those kinds of activities. Of course, we have data from the Apollo missions because they did exactly that, but now we know more. We're trying to learn more with these kind of advanced systems. So Sophie and I did those sessions before the mission. We'll do some on board using the controllers that we have to fly the Canadarm, the Canadian Space Agency built robotic arm, and then we'll do some upon landing as well. So we'll have those transitions from 1G to microgravity through an extended stay in microgravity, and then from that transition right back to having full gravity again. Of course, it won't be exactly the same as the 1/6 gravity of the moon, but it'll help gather more data to see if there is any impact on our skills.
All right. All right, and thank you so much for joining us today. If you would like to learn more about Crew-12 and their mission, please follow along on www.nasa.gov/commercial crew. Godspeed, Crew-12.